Now I request our Chief Mentor Sagayam IAS to address the gathering.
Welcome to you all. At the outset, I would like to express my profound thanks to Veranda IAS for having invited me to be part of this great event. 77th Independence Day. I convey my Independence Day wishes to you all. Our leaders, great and tall leaders, they sacrifice so much for securing independence for the country. Bhagat Singh, he made supreme sacrifice. Gandhiji, the father of the nation, he faced imprisonment for so long. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who would have otherwise been a civil servant, in fact at the age of 23, he went to London because in those days the civil service examination was not conducted in India. In 1920, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose went to London, appeared for civil service examination, cracked the civil service examination in his first attempt. He stood fourth and he became ICS. In those days it was known what is IAS, it was known as ICS those days, and he was able to stand fourth. He became ICS, but he was not able to continue. He was not able to continue the service. He resigned from ICS and became part of the great national movement. And he faced mysterious death. It's again supreme sacrifice. VOC was known popularly as Vavu Sidambaram Pillai. In fact, he was running shipping company against mighty British, and he faced a double life sentence. No one faced such a severe imprisonment like VOC. What I am trying to convey, our tall leaders, great leaders had made greater sacrifice for the sake of country, but they dream that India as a country should prosper, that every citizen of this country should get the benefit out of the great freedom and independence we secured. And you as a future civil servant should be in a position to convert their dreams into reality, ensuring justice to all citizens, irrespective of their caste, religious, regional and other backgrounds. I always as a civil servant stood for the people of this country. I maintained the higher ethical standards. When I was posted as district collector, in fact I was chosen by Election Commission of India and posted as a district collector in 2011. The mandate was very obvious and apparent that I should ensure free and fair election. And earlier it was not a possibility because you know the infamous Thirumangalam formula where the voters were freely bribed. Normally, it is the politicians who are bribed and it is the bureaucrats who are bribed, but this time in 2009 when the Thirumangalam by-election was announced, it was other way around. The voters were bribed. The freebies were distributed liberally. Liquor and biryani were supplied abundantly to the voters. In fact, the clever and crafty politicians, they were able to make the entire society corrupt so that there can be no opposition from the society. So that was infamous Thirumangalam formula. The mandate was clear to me by the Election Commission of India that you should conduct a free and fair election in Madurai. It was a really tougher and challenging task, but I always preferred that. I always liked it. As a civil servant, as an IAS officer, I prefer that. I always wanted extraordinary event to occur. So I was prepared. In fact, with a short span of time, 20 days time, we were able to conduct a free and fair election. We were able to marginalize the forces which were considered so powerful and formidable. And that was a history. That was a history. Why I am trying to say, as a civil servant, you will have greater opportunity to prove yourself, ensure that you maintain a higher ethical standard. You know how I was transferred from Madurai district? I received a complaint from members of public, the farmers mainly. The complaint was very clear that there were a good number of granite mines that were existing in a good number of, umpty number of villages in Melur Taluk of Madurai district. The complaint indicates that there were serious irregularities that apparently resulted in substantial and considerable loss to government exchequer. The moment I received, it was my duty to inquire, conduct inspection, and take action if it is legally possible at my level as a district collector or district magistrate. In case I don't have adequate power as a district collector or district magistrate, I was supposed to send a report to the government. After all, government was the authority which was issuing GO in permitting somebody to mine, extract granite. The moment I received the complaint, I knew the danger. I knew the danger because once I start inspecting the mines and once I start preparing report to be sent to government, I knew the consequences. I will be transferred from the post of district collector, district magistrate, because the miners, the granite miners, they were so powerful. They had close access with the politicians. I knew the consequences, but I always wanted to maintain the higher ethical standard as a civil servant, as an IAS officer. Come what may. I may be personally or professionally affected, but in spite of the fact, I took a decision to inspect such mines where irregularities were on. I inspected a good number of granite mines, quarries, and I found serious irregularities that resulted in substantial, hefty, considerable loss to the government exchequer to the tune of 16,000 crores. 16,000 crores, not small sum. And I sent a report to the government indicating that there were serious irregularities committed in the arena of granite mining in Melur Taluk, and therefore I wanted a team of experts to have a thorough survey conducted across the district. I need technical experts, because we in the district we didn't have the adequate number of personnel, the technical experts. And therefore I wanted the government to send the adequate personnel who are technical experts to have a thorough survey, to have to conduct technically, to assess the value of the damage cost, assess the loss, the estimated loss. I wanted the government to take action. The government took action. I was shifted in 2 days' time from the post of district collector, district magistrate, which I expected. But I always wanted as a civil servant, as an IAS officer, to maintain the higher ethical standard, the high level of integrity, because to serve my nation, to serve my fellow citizens, that is what they called for. I was shifted and posted as MD Cortex, which normally considered as not very significant or very sensitive post when compared with the district collector or the district magistrate post. I was posted as MD Cortex. The Cortex basically, it's an apex cooperative society for the weavers, for the poor weavers in the country. I always, wherever I am posted, wherever I was posted, I always stood for the sake of farmers, for the sake of weavers, for the sake of ordinary working class. So I was posted as MD Cortex. I thought, again, I did not have any regret that I was given insignificant or insensitive, non-sensitive assignment. I was extremely happy. I was immensely pleased that this is an opportunity to serve my fellow citizens, the poor weavers. And at that point of time, when I joined Cortex, the Cortex was in doldrums, facing severe financial fiscal crisis. It was a loss-making entity for 13 or 14 years. Then I started studying. Then I knew, as long as your intention is good, you will always win. I started studying and I decided certain programs. I started implementing such programs. I adopted innovative strategies and methods. You won't believe, within a span of 1 year, I was able to convert that loss-making entity as a profitable trading organization. But what happened, I had a problem with the minister. And I have to be plain with you because ultimately you are going to be future civil servants and you have to face these challenges. Don't be worried, don't be upset. Be brave, be courageous. And I had a minister because one of my managers, the Cortex had 200 showrooms run across the country. Not only in Tamil Nadu, it is not confined to, even in Andhra Pradesh we have good number of shops, even in Kerala, Karnataka, even in Jaipur we had a shop, in Delhi we had 4 shops. Those days, our forefathers, they played greater role in establishing the societies, showrooms for the sake of weavers. So we had 200 shops across the country. One of the shops located in Kallakurichi, that shop, the building was belonging to Kallakurichi municipality. At a particular point of time, the municipality wanted that structure because it became old and that structure to be dismantled. Therefore, they gave Cortex another place where they wanted to relocate our showroom, which we have done sincerely, faithfully, with the hope that they will again reallot the same shop, same building, because that is a promise they made. So our manager faithfully relocated the shop, but after completion, that the municipal chairman, who was extremely corrupt, and he did not allow the shop. He did not allow the shop. Instead, and he sold it outside. Apparently for pecuniary gain, he sold it outside. And my manager, one day he approached him, consistently he approached him. One day he started, in the presence of everyone, he started assaulting him. My manager was assaulted by the corrupt, the chairman. My manager, a poor person, he was talking to me over phone. Ayya, he was chased, he was assaulted by the chairman and by the councillor. And I got agitated. I told him that go and prefer complaint with the police station there. And he went there and he approached the inspector of police. The police inspector, he was not prepared to receive the complaint because it was obviously against the political chairman who was belonging to the then ruling party. Then I talked to the inspector. I told him strictly, you are supposed to receive FIR and you are supposed to register, you are supposed to receive complaint and you should register FIR, arrest that fellow municipal chairman, put him behind bar. I told him very strictly, categorically, unequivocally. I was really angry. But the inspector, there was a tremendous pressure from the political bosses there. The local minister, the belonging to ruling party, the local minister, he supported his own fellow, the partyman, the political chairman, the chairman of the municipality. And I talked to SP and I talked to the district collector. I sent a fax. Those days, I sent a fax message. I sent detailed letter to them. 2-3 days, he was not arrested. And my own minister, started supporting the criminal municipal chairman who assaulted my manager. My own ministers, he started supporting that chairman. And he, in fact, the minister she talked to my manager to withdraw the complaint. And the manager pleaded, in a very pathetic condition, Madam, I was assaulted, I needed justice. And the minister talked to me with the same plea that the complaint given to be withdrawn. I said, no, nothing doing. I told the minister that after all, it's your employee, he is your employee, you are supposed to protect him. Rather, you are supporting a municipal chairman who resorted to criminal assault. But the minister was hell-bent, determined to ensure that the chairman is freed, that the complaint is withdrawn. Finally, the minister arranged a meeting. In the said meeting, senior ministers, they were all taking part, and at the end, my manager was forced by the minister to withdraw the complaint. Ultimately, my manager, poor person, he was pressurized to withdraw the complaint. He did withdraw the complaint. I was angry. As a civil servant, as an IAS officer, as a MD, head of the department, head of the organization, I should protect the interest of my employee. And I was really agitated. Then ultimately, my manager withdrew the complaint. So the case is over. The fellow who assaulted the municipal chairman, the fellow who resorted to criminal assault, he went scot-free, which really made me angry and agitated. Then what I did, I sent a detailed report, I prepared a detailed report indicating all that what had happened, indicating the role of the minister who pressurized my manager to withdraw the complaint. I wrote to Chief Secretary with a plea, the matter can be taken to the notice of Honorable CM then, so that a probe can be ordered and action taken against everyone including the minister. I wrote very boldly and courageously, I wrote to Chief Secretary with a plea that the matter can be taken to the notice of the Honorable CM. In the set letter, I have clearly indicated that as a civil servant, I have to maintain a higher level of ethical standard. Here is my employee who was assaulted by the municipal chairman, and being the head of the organization, and as an IAS officer, as a civil servant, it is my duty and responsibility to protect his interest. I am sending this letter to you, and this might affect my career, but there is no other way excepting performing this duty, maintaining higher level of ethical standard. I have clearly indicated, I have the copy of the letter. I wanted and I have action to be taken by the Chief Secretary. The matter, I was under the impression the matter can be taken to the notice of Honorable CM and action taken accordingly. But action was taken after 10 days. I was transferred from the post of MD Cortex. I knew that in spite of that, I wanted to maintain the higher level of ethical standard, because that is a way a civil servant can serve the fellow citizen. That is a way an IAS officer can serve the nation better. That is what our tall leaders and great leaders who fought for the independence of this nation dreamt of. And therefore, my dear students, I can narrate so many incidents, but the time is not adequate, and therefore, my dear students and future civil servants, I truly hope that you will definitely become civil servants. And be courageous, don't be afraid. My narration of these incidents should not make you apprehensive, afraid. Rather, be bold enough. Being courageous is really enjoyable. Being bold is really, one can really enjoy as a civil servant. You may get professionally affected, but still it gives you enormous satisfaction. Therefore, Veranda IAS with my friend Mr. Ilanjalian and other my colleagues, and they are clearly determined to make you civil servant, but civil servant, not ordinary civil servant, extraordinary civil servants who will maintain a higher level of ethical standards. Definitely you will perform better than me. Thank you so much. All the best.
Veranda IAS, where your dream becomes reality.